friends, welcome to the All Canadian Reptile Girl. I'm Annalise, and today I will show you some great ways to add some natural enrichment to your enclosures without costing you much more than an hour or two of your time and a few pennies on your electrical bill. Now grab your coat, which I don't have down here with me, but that's okay because I have all the B-roll I need and I'm staying inside. Just get your coat, you're going outside. I'll be with you spiritually. So let me ask you, do you like spending time in nature? And do you enjoy knowing that you have personally contributed to the enrichment and overall contentment level of your reptiles? I bet you do if you're watching this channel. If so, then this is the activity for you. And the best part is that you can do this solo or involve the whole family or friends too. Drag them into your obsession. It's much more fun that way. It's fall, and leaves are changing, and the temperature is dropping, and
winter is coming.
Now, you've probably heard me say that every season is enclosure upgrade season, and I stand behind that. But because of the snow and the cold temperatures, I'm limited as to what type of construction or upgrading I can do over the winter months. So, instead of upgrading or building new enclosures, I spend December through March mostly freshening up and rearranging my current enclosures that I have. Well, plus designing how I want the enclosures to look like when spring does come around so I can get started on those right away. But other than that, that's all I have to do. You all know that I like my enclosures to be as close to the natural habitat for my reptiles as possible. This means that I need rocks, sticks, branches, logs, bark, leaves, shells, or anything else that they would find in nature to include into their enclosure. The first step in this process is pretty easy. You just need a bag or container of some kind to hold the things that you find. Then head out and start collecting. Just be sure that whatever you collect is safe for your animal or enclosure. For example, tortoises love to nibble or taste everything, and they, well, don't have very much of a regard for if that is safe for them. So you need to be the controller there and confirm that anything that you bring home isn't toxic to them. For me, everything that I've collected is going to go into snake enclosures, so I don't really have to worry about ingestion. Go to a natural area, walking paths, a park, your backyard, or anywhere that you can guarantee two things. One, it's safe and legal to collect things. And two, make sure that the area does not get sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, or any other sides, or that it is not a local hotspot for doggy droppings, so that the leaves or anything else that you're bringing home are as chemical or pathogen free as possible, because you don't want your animals getting sick. Once you've collected your items, you want to make sure that they are all clean and relatively sterile for your reptiles. Some folks like to just toss stuff into the enclosure pretty much as is, and it is probably okay for them to be exposed to this. I mean, they would be in the wild. And bioactive is not just about having some plants in your tank. You are creating an ecosystem after all. I get it, and I don't see really any problems with that, if that's what you want to do. But I still prefer to sterilize most of what goes into my tanks just to be on the safe side. There are two methods that I use. These are the ones that I have found to be the easiest and most beneficial for us. The first involves the kitchen, specifically the oven. This method is good for leaves, small branches, or logs, bark, really anything that can fit into the oven except rocks and shells. Those need to be sterilized using the second method, which I will talk about in a minute. So for everything that can go into the oven, it's got to be hot enough and in there long enough to kill the bacteria and fungus and whatever else is on there, but it can't be too hot to, catch on fire. So turn your oven on to about 220 degrees for my US friends. That would be 160 degrees Celsius for everybody else in the world. And layer your items out onto a baking sheet. You do not need to use foil or anything else, just straight on the pan is perfectly fine. Be sure to not pack everything on too thickly, else the stuff on the bottom will still be wet or damp, and that is not what we are after. It goes into the oven for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. It all depends on how much stuff you put in and how waterlogged or soggy they are. Basically, you want your leaves to be crispy and the branches, you're looking to kill off any bugs, mold, or funguses, bacteria stuff. on them. As soon as your items are cooled, they are ready to be added to your enclosures. If you have rocks, shells, or branches that are just too long to fit into your oven, you can use the second method, which is sterilizing your items by giving them a bath. Put them in your bathtub filled with enough water to cover all of your items, and then just add a little bit of bleach in and let them soak for a couple of hours. The time that they're soaking for depends on the item. The longer soaks go for the bark and the logs or sticks, and you have less time with rocks or shells. See, the reason we use this method for rocks and shells is that if you were to bake these, they may look like they're a smooth, hard surface, but they are actually quite porous, and they can have little pockets of water within them. And as that water heats up, it will expand. And as most of you probably know, as water expands, if it's trapped, it will explode that thing. So they just go pop. I assume you don't want that. That would be a new oven, which would mean a bit more than a few extra cents on your electrical bill. So avoid that by soaking them. And once they are soaked, you can give them a bit of a scrub, drain the water, and then just give them another bath with plain water to help get any remaining bleach odor off. Once dry, they're all set and ready to be added to your enclosures too. Okay, so here I am outside of Dozer, my corn snake's enclosure. He's getting a bit of a freshening up today. As you can probably tell, he's pat everything down pretty well, just stomped all the soil in, knocked over the branches. It needs a freshening up. Except for like there. Right there. He didn't pat that down, but everything else, because he's active at night, everything else is just... So, he's getting a freshening up today. The first thing I'm going to do is take out his hide, his water bowl, take out all the sticks, basically take everything out. Don't forget to take out the snake. It's kind of important. Then I will wash down his windows because they need a washing. I will fluff up his substrate. Be careful of the plants. They're delicate. Then put everything back in with a slightly different arrangement. So just knowing your snake, put yourself in their shoes and then design that enclosure for them. It's not just a one size fits all with these enclosures, and this gives you a bit of an opportunity to show that. Your snake is unique. What they're gonna like is different. So put yourself in their, like I said, shoes and make the enclosure to a way you think that they would like it. What I basically want to do here is we're giving him a new environment that he will still feel safe in. So think about it as enriching, but not scary. If you have a shy snake, you might want to build something up along the sides so that it's more limited vision out. And if you have a more confident snake that likes to be out, give them definitely a lot more climbing stuff or areas where they can stretch out with a little less stuff, like more open. I'll also add in some new isopods and springtails too. And of course, add in some of the leaves and rocks I prepped today. All right, there. I'm absolutely in love with his new enclosure, and I think he will love it too, and I know he's going to explore every inch of this, so let's let him get to exploring. I love watching Dozer explore everything in his enclosure, and I'm looking forward to seeing him do that right after we're done filming here. It makes me happy knowing that he's happy too, or at least I think he is. He's checking out his little tunnel. I will be putting footage of Dozer just cruising around and exploring everything at the end of the bloopers, so watch through to that, and please don't skip the bloopers. It makes the analytics all funny. That is one enclosure down. I don't even want to think about how many more there are. Oscar, will you supervise me for all of them like you did today? Thanks, him and Jubs. Anyway, what do you think of my quick and easy and pretty much free method of adding some natural enrichment to your enclosures? Let me know all that in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, remember to nurture all nature. Bye! Rinse dry, rinse dry. You rinse them in water until they're dry. It's kind of magic. Ooh. If you poop, I'm in the splash zone. Please don't. Speak your truth. you're so loud. I could hear you from all the way down here. So, nurture all nature. Until next time, that's wrong. Where they can just go like, hey, I'm strolling through with my non-legs.